The elderly man entered the courtroom in handcuffs, his face weathered by time. "Your name?" asked the clerk, voice slightly shaking. He replied, "Lucien Dubois, Sergeant Major, United States Marine Corps." No one could have predicted what was about to unfold. Minutes later, as Judge Sophia Logan reviewed the case file, her expression froze. The color drained from her face. That name. It was the name of the man who had saved her brother's life on the battlefield in Fallujah before making the ultimate sacrifice. Lucien Dubois, now 69, sat quietly on the defendant's bench, his shoulders hunched under a faded military jacket, 2 sizes too large, his face marked by deep lines and scars earned from battles both physical and emotional. Decades earlier, he stood tall in a crisp blue uniform, medals gleaming on his chest. Today, he waited for sentencing in second hand. Clothes from a shelter donation bin. Case 47B. The City versus Lucien Dubois. Charges: disturbing the peace, trespassing, resisting arrest. Lucien slowly rose, joints stiff from old wounds and arthritis. Vietnam first, then Iraq. His body was a map of sacrifice. The prosecutor, young and sharply dressed, began, "The defendant has repeatedly been seen loitering behind Jefferson Street Cafe. The business owner has filed 3 complaints this month." What the prosecutor omitted was that Lucien sat near the cafe's back vent for warmth during freezing nights. He never begged, never harassed anyone. He merely sought heat from the kitchen's exhaust. Officer Jack Morrow testified next. "I found the accused behind the cafe at 11:45 p.m. He refused to leave when asked. Lucien hadn't refused. He had asked for 5 more minutes to finish a half sandwich the cook had quietly given him. But arguing then, like now, seemed futile. "Your Honor," the prosecutor continued, "this is the defendant's 3rd citation. This year, we recommend community service and a 30-day ban from the downtown business district." Such a ban would prevent Lucien from accessing the only shelter bed he had known, and the church meals on Tuesdays and Thursdays. In winter, it was equivalent to exile. "Mr. Dubois," Judge Sophia Logan asked, "do you have representation today?" Lucien shook his head. His public defender had been called to another courtroom. "Would you like to make a statement on your own behalf?" Lucien cleared his throat. His voice was rough from disuse. "No excuses, Your Honor. I was just trying to stay warm." "Any particular reason for choosing that location?" she asked, her eyes narrowing slightly. Lucien hesitated. "Etienne sometimes gives me food. I've known him since he was a boy. His father served with me in Desert Storm." "Your military service?" Judge Logan asked, though such information was rarely relevant. "United States Marine Corps, 1965 to 1995. Sergeant Major, 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines, Iraq." There was a flicker in the judge's eyes as she jotted something down. Before she could speak, the courtroom doors opened. A distinguished man in a tailored suit stepped forward, placing a leather briefcase on the public defender's desk. "Your Honor, Antoine Rossi, representing the defendant. I apologize for the interruption. I've just been retained." Lucien looked up, baffled. He hadn't called anyone. He couldn't afford a lawyer, especially one this polished. "This is highly irregular, Mr. Rossi," the judge noted. "It's a very recent development, Your Honor. I request a short recess to speak with my client." The judge studied both men for a moment, then nodded. 15-minute recess. Lucien turned to Rossi. "I don't have money." "You don't need it. Williams, Rossi, and Logan is handling this pro bono." "Logan." The same name as the judge. "Exactly," Rossi confirmed. In her chambers, Judge Sophia Logan removed her glasses with trembling hands. 2 decades on the bench had prepared her for many things, but not this. "It can't be him," she whispered. She opened a drawer, pulled out a worn photo. Her younger self beside her brother, Lieutenant Mark Logan, both smiling wide in his marine dress blues. Next to it lay his final letter from Iraq, its paper softened by time. In it, he described a firefight near Fallujah. His unit was pinned down. A Sergeant Major Dubois ran into open fire to rescue a wounded Marine and provide cover for the others. 2 weeks later, Mark was killed by an IED. Sophia recalled the military funeral, the folded flag, the Marine who approached them after. "Your son saved my life," he had said. "I was the one he protected." His name had been Lucien Dubois. She had tried to contact him, but the Marines told her he had been redeployed. Later, she learned he was honorably discharged with severe PTSD and traumatic brain injury. And now, 20 years later, he stood in her courtroom, homeless, alone, forgotten. Antoine Rossi entered the chambers. "Sophia, what's wrong?" "It's him," she said, pointing to the photo. "The Marine who saved Mark." Rossi's eyes widened. "The homeless vet in your courtroom?" She nodded. "His file confirms it. Fallujah, 2004. Same unit, Silver Star." "Does he know who you are?" "I don't think so. I married after law school. Changed my name." "What do you want to do?" "I won't recuse myself," she said. "I won't let him disappear again." Back in the courtroom, her composure had returned, though her hands still trembled. "Mr. Rossi, how does your client wish to proceed?" "We request dismissal of all charges." Mr. Dubois sought warmth, not trouble. He had implicit permission from cafe staff. The prosecutor started to object, but Judge Logan raised her hand. "I have some questions for the accused. Mr. Dubois, your record states you served in Fallujah in 2004, correct?" Lucien straightened, a shadow of old muscle memory. "Yes, ma'am. 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines. April 17th, 2004. We were escorting a convoy." The judge continued, her voice steady. "Did you rescue a wounded Marine that day, Lieutenant Mark Logan?" Lucien's brow furrowed. "Young officer, yeah. Good man. Took a hit going after a medic. I pulled him behind a wall. He kept telling me to save the others first." From the gallery, a silver-haired man in a Marine Corps League jacket stood abruptly. "It's him! I was there! He saved 6 of us!" "Order," said Judge Logan, though her voice lacked its usual steel. Lucien stared at the floor, uncomfortable. The silver-haired Marine remained standing. "Your Honor," said the prosecutor, "admirable as his service is, it's not relevant." "This court disagrees," said Judge Logan. "It is entirely relevant." She declared a 10-minute recess. In chambers, her mask cracked. She dialed. "Colonel Matthew, Sophia Logan. Yes, I need a favor. Now." 10 minutes later, she returned, with 3 Marines in dress blues behind her. One held a polished wooden case. Lucien stood reflexively. "Before we proceed," she began, "I must disclose a personal connection. Lieutenant Mark Logan was my brother." Gasps echoed. Lucien's eyes widened. 20 years ago, he wrote to us about a sergeant major who saved him. That man was you." The silver-haired Marine shouted again, "It's true! Dubois took 2 hits to protect him." Judge Logan nodded. "Mark died weeks later. But those weeks mattered." She gestured to the colonel. "Sergeant Major Dubois," said Colonel Mathieu, "the Marines have been searching for you. Your case was flagged during a Veterans Reevaluation Initiative. The corporal opened the case. Inside gleamed the Navy Cross. For extraordinary heroism on April 17, 2004, we award you the Navy Cross. Gasps again. Previously classified reports confirm you didn't just save 6 Marines. You prevented a full convoy ambush. Your Silver Star is being upgraded. Lucien's voice cracked. There must be a mistake. I was just doing my job. No mistake, said the colonel. This is long overdue. The gallery rose to its feet. Marine veterans, civilians, even the prosecutor. A long overdue salute to a forgotten hero. Judge Logan, eyes now glistening, announced, all charges against Sergeant Major Lucien Dubois are hereby dismissed. Case closed. The gunnery sergeant stepped forward with a tablet. Sir, your VA benefits have been restored at 100% disability. You're entitled to retroactive pay, housing, full health care. What does that mean? Lucien asked. It means you're finally taken care of, sir. Rossi added, and we'll handle all the paperwork. No more red tape. Etienne, the cafe cook, stepped forward, eyes wet. My dad always said a Marine saved his unit. If I ever met Lucien Dubois, I owed him everything. I didn't know it was you. Even the prosecutor came forward. I'm sorry, sir. Truly. Lucien stood straighter, the weight of years slowly lifting. Judge Logan descended from the bench. Mark said you once told him, no Marine gets left behind on my watch. Today, Sergeant Major, we honor that promise to you. 2 weeks later, Lucien stood in his new apartment, provided by the veterans. Housing program. 1 bedroom, modest, but his. On the wall, framed together, his newly awarded Navy Cross, his Purple Hearts, his old medals recovered by Rossi from a storage auction. A knock. Judge Logan stood there, no robe, just a woman holding a box. May I come in? Of course, please, just Lucien. Then I'm just Sophia. They sat quietly. The bond between them heavy, unspoken. These are Mark's letters, she said, handing over a stack. He wrote about you. Lucien's hands trembled as he unfolded one. Mom, Dad, he read aloud, I'm alive because of Sergeant Major Dubois. He ran through hellfire to get me. He told me no Marine gets left behind. He always spoke of you as the Marine he aspired to become, Sophia said. Lucien's eyes filled. He was a good officer, young, but he cared. That's rare. I started law school after he died. Everything I've built, the Veterans Court, housing programs, it started with what he wrote about you. I'm no hero. I just did what had to be done. That's what heroes say. She hesitated. His last mission was voluntary. He said he wanted to live like you. Lucien was quiet. Then, all those years, I thought no one remembered. It meant everything, Sophia said. To Mark, to me, to the men you saved. She rose to leave, touching his shoulder. Mark used to say, a Marine's measure is what he does when no one's watching. You lived that truth, even when the world looked away. Lucien stood straighter than he had in years. Someone remembered my name, he whispered. And in that quiet moment, something long broken began to heal. Not just for Lucien Dubois, but for everyone touched by his sacrifice. Because some save others from death, and spend a lifetime waiting to be saved from being forgotten. Honor doesn't ask for glory. Sometimes, a simple moment of recognition is enough to help someone rise again. No one should be left behind. Everyone deserves to be seen.